Kissibe. Muy bien Fekru. Stum Six Saloon.
Wombu.
So, look, Nalui is really not one to judge. With not having a lot of memories of her own past, she really likes to try to play it a little safe and make sure that she's not opening herself up to calling a pot or a kettle a skillet, for instance. She's a good person. She's a nice person. And, people from back on the islands are actually even trying to contact her and ask her about how life is and what she's up to. But I have to say, I think Nalui is a little concerned. Not only did she get a random phone call from a mysterious stranger professing deep romantic attraction to her, right when Ukapanipo seems to have wandered away, but she also is running into a lot of very sad people with lots of question marks attached, because I'm pretty sure this woman has never seen someone in a bear costume before. Are you talking to some person behind me in a bear costume? Because I am not dressed as a bear. I am a bear. And you're new. So hello everyone and welcome back to Wedding Rags to Island Riches, Axolotl-y in Love edition. And we're back with Nalui, Castaway, who is still kind of getting her bearings after a very rough first day in which the host and the young biologist who invited her out to help him research none other than the adorable salamander species, the axolotl, ended up losing his sister in a freak fire when his sister was just trying to be nice and make him like some pineapple tofu burgers for dinner. She's feeling a little guilty about that, but also kind of confused. And I was wondering if Nalui should actually feel like, actually have some nice hefty moodlets with a little bit of MCCC help. To say like, ooh, this is really awkward. Showed up at my host family's house and like, death. But it turns out Nalui happens to have a lovely skill where she is very laid back after completing the beach life aspiration, which I completely forgot about. But it means that I think she's taken all of this kind of in stride because she is also a child of the islands, having earned that right by appeasing the ocean spirits, or the island spirits in Sulani. She doesn't know where she came from. They didn't know where she came from, but part of her story, her history, the lore of Nulani, is that she actually was able to go ahead and restore the health of the islands and restore the ecosystems there. And as a result, she has been taken in and kind of become adopted family to the ancients of the islands. And so she believes in ghosts and can see ghosts too, because she does have the sixth sense skill. It is an amazing mod that I have where if you want to see ghosts, you have to pay a lot of aspiration points, or I have it in my secret hidden Sims genetic code that you might be like born with the ability to see ghosts. We'll talk more about those things later, but for now, the moral of the story is I think Nalui is not nervous about what to do about her host sister dying, because it happened so suddenly. She didn't really have time to get attached to the whole situation, and she's rather optimistic that maybe the ancient spirits will be able to help, and maybe she can summon the island elementals in just a little bit here. But before we can do that, we kind of have to deal with a couple things, like who is this bear? So let's ask about why the bear is sad, because Nilui is kind of getting a little bit surprised by how many people are so sad in this supposed city of love. And we'll get to the bottom of that while we also have our poor Leo here. He's spending his time currently surveying the area's wildlife for more axolotls. Because I didn't mean to do it so fast, but we found our first axolotl! And we will be looking at that lovely axolotl in a little bit here, but some of the things he needs to do for his work at home assignments, he's frantic. His sister just died. He's kind of freaked out, very depressed properly for, 20 more days, because you should be with something that extreme happening. I think after the 20 days, we'd say he's kind of accepted that it happened, and if he's not able to bring her back by the end of the year, we have the final axe, and that will be either we need to have collected all of the axolotls to let the axolotl god bring her back to life, maybe. I'm rolling with this as best I can, friends. or find another way to bring her back to life. And who knows, that other way might be something that Nalui has some insight into. But for now, his brain is kind of scrambled, and even though he's got a death in the backyard, not just the family, but the family backyard, well, he also needs to work on being able to keep up with the grant that he has for this limited time that he's got the opportunity to have a little bit of support and funding from his university to try to rescue these axolotl species. Also, now Nalui knows a little bit more about this bear's sadness. So why sad? Lots of reasons, friend. The main reason is I lost my ring. Well, I sort of threw it in the nearby pond. Oh! I tried fishing it out, but I'm terrible at fishing. It was always her thing. If you're able to fish it out, let me know. That ring has some kind of special romantic magic about it. I can tell you more later. What? Okay, that has something to do with, like, the water. Nalui is also a child of the ocean. She very much loves water, and I think she's actually, she and Ukapanipo, I think, are both a little bit freaked out at, like, yo, where's the beach? Like, what's that? A river? Where's the beach? Like, I think both she and Ukapanipo were not expecting a lack of beach, as silly as that sounds. And so they're both a little bit like, this is kind of like, I feel kind of claustrophobic. This landlockedness is weird. But we'll address more of that in a little bit here. For now, what's she up to? Enthused about marine biology? Oh, maybe she's talking about, like, this ring and this bear. I wonder, here, can she survey it? And then what does she need to do? Survey ocean wildlife in the Loo, take photos. I don't know if we can do those things, which might make life a little interesting for us. And meanwhile... Oh, meanwhile, poor Leo here. We haven't even really had a chance to get to know Leo very much. So you know what? Why don't we go ahead and why don't we have him and Nalui do a bit of fishing here at this pond, because they're supposed to be surveying for the axolotls in the local neighborhood pond where Leo actually happens to live, and I will have him share an axolotl with her in a little bit here, and we'll talk more about them. But this is a good way for them to kind of catch their breath, because, you know, Nalui, she's laid back. She lives on island time. She has island spirit around her. She figures, when in doubt... I love how this man just, like, pulled treasure out of the water, and he's like, but it's not a slimy salamander. Maybe it's something else. Maybe my sister would have loved this box. She could have put tacos in it. Like, Leo, I'm just gonna let him kind of go through and feel his feels right now. Ooh, that's a lovely little fish. Meanwhile, Nalui's just all happy about the fish. Oh, okay. Welcome. Well, in a cruel twist of fate, you've ended up in a haunted house, possibly by the hands of some malevolent mastermind controlling your every action. Maybe make the most of it. Surely there's a good reason to be here. Why am I here again? You're understandably upset. Some sort of cruel deity has sent you here. If you're going to blame anyone, blame them. And meanwhile, Nalui's like, so I caught a cichlid. Little rainy here. Kind of a little bit spooked because did you hear that weird cackle? Because I heard a weird cackle. So, let's catch our breath for just a minute. Haunted house, you say, Seri? Yes. Yes, friends. Because as Nalui was trying to come up with ways to calm poor crying Leo down after, we're going to say Ukapanipo just kind of wandered off, like, because he's prone to do that. Well, you know, Leo, in his franticness, fell back on what he, as a diligent student, has done for years, and turned his attention to the project ahead of him, the assignment that he is here to try to do, which is to take care of the axolotl. He's on a time crunch for that grant. He's got a stranger here. He doesn't know what to do, so they came over to the local pond. The local pond that happens to be next to the local museum. The local haunted house museum. Because yes, I went there. And yes, it is so dark because we're going to be talking with my husband in Reshade at some point in the near future. Trust me. But, yes, so How are we going to find out how to bring his sister back, whilst also working on trying to complete this axolotl challenge, you say? Well, considering the fact that we need to convince that Leo that ghosts are real and that he can see the ghost, how are we going to manage to do that? Obviously, we need to start by getting enough aspiration points for him to believe in ghost, believe that his sister might be able to be brought back. And to get 2,000 aspiration points is kind of a hard thing to do. On the one hand, we could take him out for a night around town and try to complete all these big aspirations, like write a best-selling romance novel, which made me blink 5 times. We'll talk about that, I guess, when we look over his actual personality in a minute here. But perhaps there could be answers, I thought. Answers for Leo at a night at the Haunted Museum, where he's also going to use this as the base for where he works. He also just got a little minnow, lovely for him. But this is going to be the base of where Leo actually works from and where he is supposed to like come and report in on his axolotl research. It is an absolutely amazing palace museum that I found on the gallery. I'm going to try to find the creator really fast. Gonna try to find the creator really fast. I saved it, yes! Oh, thank goodness. I was really worried about that for a second. But this is actually from Aierto 5, and it's freaking amazing. I don't know if this is like their original piece either, because I know sometimes people get a little bit like about that. I'm sure that made sense too. But it's amazing, and it is the current location that we have brought ourselves to go ahead and, you know, it turns out that it's right next to Leo's house. That was not intentional. I actually was really surprised when I was like, wait, is that their house? After we popped over here. But it is a haunted museum that we are here at because hopefully by spending some nights at haunted museums or a haunted house, what happens is you gain a lot more satisfaction points. And also, spooky things happen. Maybe you just have to scare yourself into believing in ghosts. That sounds like a good plan. And I was also thinking, maybe somewhere here, in this vast and sprawling building that, for crying out loud, turn on all lights, please. In this vast and sprawling building, maybe we would be able to go ahead and find some research evidence that would point the way towards ghost, that would point the way towards perhaps other things we could do. Excuse me, please, would you please leave all the lights on? I am busy here. Other things that we might be able to do to bring his sister back from the dead. I was very curious to see what this place would look like. It does not disappoint. It is lined with books. It might have, perhaps, a hidden tome about magic. Or maybe the recipe for ambrosia, the very special food you could use to bring ghost back from the dead. Also, would you please stay on? I swear, I'm fighting with the ghost to keep my lights on right now. Yes, stay. I'm telling you, you little brats. But maybe it might have a special tome hidden somewhere inside of these seemingly empty bookcases that would let us know about ghost, and it would allow us to go ahead and would allow us to like be able to see his sister, and then we can kind of work from there. We can figure out, okay, so Leo, are you going to bring her back through like maybe earning a wishing well, or are you going to figure out magic? Or, and there's a lot of options. There's a lot of great options for how you can bring a ghost back from the dead. However, we're going to start with the option, believe that ghosts exist. And so this is going to be kind of the home base for the Axolotl-y club when we aren't actually at his home, which Leo kind of wants to stay away from for a little bit. His sister died there after all. And we're gonna see if we're able to like come in here and perhaps just spend some time. For crying out loud, all the lights going off, all the lights going on, driving me mad. I swear, ghost. But we're gonna see if we can spend some time. There's even like rooms that I think, because this place is supposed to be like a palace, that we're gonna say Leo is allowed to have access to, because he's doing research. But it does mean that we get to kind of like we get to kind of take over a palace, which is not where I thought we were going, but I also didn't think we were going to be spending nights at the haunted museums while trying to go ahead and apparently fish out a magic ring that now Nilui is very curious about, and also that, that we just need to find some axolotl. So here we are. Step 1. Earn aspiration points to believe in ghost, while also trying to make sure that these two manage to get themselves not fired. We might have to change Niloui's job from the Master of Marine Affairs as well, because I don't think I can take photos of the beauty at Malupalam or survey the ocean wildlife while we're here. So this might actually be where Niloui realizes there's no beach. That's a bit of a problem. But we'll have to figure out what we're going to do about that. If we can find some sort of beach spot she can like swim at, and she can go ahead and maybe can she? Oh, she can do some snorkeling here. She totally would do that. Oh, especially because she's not really finding like any kind of magic ring anything. We did find some salmon and betta fish and goldfish and cichlids. I wonder if I don't want them to like go bad. I want them to be good. She likes fishing, except I think does it make Ukapanipo sad because he's a merman? I'm trying to remember if that's the case. Does it make you sad to catch the fishies if you're a merman, Ukapanipo? Maybe? But you know what won't make him sad? Let's go ahead and we're gonna bring him here, because he's totally gonna be like, hey, where were you? Like, meanwhile, he ran off first, probably go take a nap. He also wants to go streaking, and it's raining, and he's a merman with hydration needs. We can put all those things together, Uki. Where'd you go? You're way over here? Well, I mean, there's frogs over here. He's happy. Maybe we'll have him play in the rain for a minute. And meanwhile, I wonder, are these two, like, getting any closer? Like, while they're hanging out? They really are! He really feels like he can rely on Niloui as a little bit of a friend. Meanwhile, she could definitely rely on a bit of a bathroom, so we might send her into the building in just a second. But first, in fact, we'll let him keep fishing and maybe say that he's just like studying the waterways for the axolotls. And let's go see Ukapatipo! So, Niloui wants to go to the beach. She's a little worried because there's no beach here. Chat with one of her friends. Become a spellcaster, Niloui. I don't think you have that vibe, but look at her, look at him. Wait a second. Maybe magic is the way to go. Maybe Leo has a little bit of that magic blood coursing through his veins, that if we can just activate it somehow, if we can perhaps call the island spirits and get them to tell us what to do, maybe we'll be able to like help him out. But let's have her go and greet Ukapanipo. She also hasn't seen him. So it's like, how would she affection, probably hug lovingly, like just to be like, hey, there you are. He's very independent. She's used to him, like, you know, going off into the ocean for hours and swimming where she can't follow, even in her scuba like gear. And he's very affectionate as well. Looks like the fish in the area are too crafty for Leo. Try fishing somewhere else, or try using some more valuable bait. Well, Leo, why don't you survey again? Because I think him surveying these fishing spots seemed to be helping. And plant something. We got some pineapples from our new friends. We can have him plant a pineapple in a minute. We're gonna give him just a second. Meanwhile, Ukapanipo ran off. I believe he ran off because he does have a sunken treasure. No way, a sunken treasure hunter career. Of course. Maybe he could come over and he could help out with like the aquatic lure or fishing together. Can he swim over here? Because that would be really funny if he could find, let's see, snorkel. Mermaids would never be caught snorkeling. A very taboo subject. What? Oh, I could just let him sleep in the water. That's so funny. Oh man, and then like sunbathe, too cloudy for sunbathing. Oh my gosh, he totally would just like dive in, especially because it's late at night. So like he's like, if there's not a beach here, is this my puddle? This is the best I got. Meanwhile, she's feeling kind of miserable because she needs to use the restroom. But Uki wants to freshen up with the mirror, go streaking, study language and literature. Oh my gosh. Okay, look. One of Ukapinipo's backstories is as a merman, he can't read. He was currently working on building up his writing skill to learn how to start reading. And we were going to say that, you know, the way his writing skill is being built is him learning how to read. And he was tutoring kids at the local library, but I bet he's staring at all of the books in this entire, like, gigantic building, thinking to himself, like, this is all gobbledygook and there's no pictures. And so they wouldn't interest him. But I could see how he might think of it as a bit of a challenge. But also, like, there's a lot going on. Maybe we should clarify about the whole beach thing. Let's see, friendly complaints. Maybe complain about the problems of, like, so there's no beach here. Also, I need to use the restroom. Things are a little bit confusing. Leo seems to be staring into space quite a bit. Maybe we'll go ahead and maybe talk about the weather. Oh, look at him reassure her. Okay, that's adorable. That's absolutely adorable. Okay, this is he will go the distance for Nilui's sake. Also, he wants to swim around on his own. That's hilarious. Oh, I've forgotten he has the romantic explorer spark of love. Get to know your date, achieve level 2 romance skill, use the romantic blanket 3 times, and share food 2 times. Acquired the romantic skill. Ukapinipo's new skill in romance will allow him to successfully flirt more frequently and romance other Sims faster. Ukapinipo can now research romance tips on the computer and perform a romantic introduction. Ukapinipo, I don't think I want a merman who's just learning how to read on the internet search engines, please. When looking for romance advice or tips or stuff. Yeah. We'll let him go ahead and just run off. Meanwhile, I suppose that means Leo's used to sleeping. I think I feel like we should have to pay a fee or something to use the fancy beds and everything like that here. But at the same time, I don't know. At the same time, they are here on a grant, so it is really fancy here. Oh, good! And there's somewhere we can put all the fish we're catching. Oh, that makes me so relieved. I didn't want them to, like, get sick or hurt, and I want to figure out what to do with them, because I can't remember if Ukapinipo gets really upset about the whole fishing thing or not. But why don't we come up and then we'll, like, claim a bed here, I think. Okay, so it doesn't look like you can claim it, but we'll go ahead and we'll settle in and just, like, take over a room. And I guess the fact that it's a haunted house will have to just be the trade-off we're using for, like, perching out here. So, meanwhile, Ukapinipo, you're gonna be like the weirdest axolotl that Leo has ever seen in his life. He turned around just in time to miss the gigantic mermaid tail popping out of the water behind him. Oh, poor Leo. Alright, we should probably finish up the night by getting to know Leo just a little bit better as we take him over to also claim a room here at the for crying out loud, just all lights and all lights, just leave them all on, please. I'm trying to find a place. I feel like he would feel inclined to, like, take one of the smaller rooms, or maybe one of the rooms closest to where he can do research, especially now that he's like, wait, you mean I might be able to help my sister after all? Like, this is a really, really adorable build, and I love that after this huge, gigantic... What's that? Is that just a stray cat at the museum? Romeo? His name's Romeo? There's a stray cat named Romeo here? No, that's too good. That's too good. We need to go and meet that cat. But I was gonna say, I feel like Leo is used to working in, like, these offices where clearly, like, some of the administrators work here, but especially in here where it's just crowded and there's paperwork all over the place. This is amazing. I also think this is where he's come for a good chunk of his time in his life for his research of recent years. And so he's in charge of this place and probably to take care of it to some degree while we're using it. And so I think that, like, yeah, you got all this fancy stuff, but you don't usually use it because you're too busy researching, and also it looks like kind of a bad look if you're just like faffing about whilst your like boss walks in while you're supposed to be working on your thesis or whatnot. But where should we say is a room that looks like he would have spent a lot of time in there? Like doing research and other things. Probably just this little room with a nice desk, and it's kind of tucked out of the way, but closest to the research. So I'll let him use this place. Prerogative of, again, volunteering for the entire project, and also, did you do? Oh, good. So that's where the money came from. That came from completing his surveying desire. And then can I get you? Okay, if we want to plant something, I might have him plant a pineapple seed really quickly somewhere. I feel like it needs to be at least somewhere semi-tiny baby bit logical. Maybe just like right over here. Is there enough room over here to plant a pineapple seed? Oh my gosh, well, that's not really gonna... We can eat the pineapple. But we were given a pineapple by Ukapanipo of all people. and then here, we'll plant it over here because I think he'll be like looking at this statue and thinking of his sister. There we go. Poor man. Really going through a lot right now. Okay, you be good, okay? Like, enjoy. Technically, I would think that would count as streaking, but you know, I'm not a mermaid. And then while we follow Leo, as he wraps up this day, this night of tragedy, this first night at the Haunted Museum, which so far has been ridiculously peaceful and quiet. We'll have to see if that continues or if anything is supposed to be happening haunting-wise. We'll go ahead and learn a little bit more about Leo. He was given the extremely thoughtful, deep lore of about 2 seconds inside of Create a Sim hitting the random button. And then he just came together as all of his traits came out, as the way he looks almost entirely just came out. I think that it's quite a wonderful example of emergent role-playing and storytelling to simply hit the random button and make sure that they at least don't look like utter tragedies of that's not even fair to Sim to pretend they would look like that. And this is who we got. Leo Zamero. Leo with his sister, his mother, who we'll talk more about next time, his grandmother, currently traveling across the world on her tour. He is socially awkward. Yay! And he completed his little job things. There you go. We'll ignore the adorable couple studying the stars together. Maybe Leo can go ahead. I feel like he wouldn't chase this flock, but we'll send him upstairs to go ahead and sleep. There we go. Good job, Leo. So Leo, he, young man, recent graduate of the graduate studies at the local biology department of a very nice university here in his hometown. Socially awkward, he loves the outdoors, romantically reserved, which means that he treads carefully in the realms of love, preferring to take his time and build solid emotional connections before jumping headfirst into romance. He also has knowledge sim primary, popularity sim, mostly meaning like his family and believing in doing good things for the world, secondary. Those are special mods I have to kind of help influence what kind of whims you might see to give your sims a little bit more specified personalities. Also, bye Nalui, sleep well. That's kind of hilarious that we ran into her just then too. And he is a paranormal hobby, science hobby, nature hobby kind of person who currently has the leader of the pack skill or aspiration, because that is to make this conservation group Axolotl-y successful. And we can at least give this poor man buying a club perk that much progress in his days, even though he's crying himself to sleep. And he just spent the night digging around in the mud looking for romantic rings, apparently, and axolotls. I can at least make his club feel a little bit more popular with what perk points we do have, because they're trying to do good in the world and people like axolotls. Now he needs to perform 10 club activities and be a gathering for 12 hours. Well, we'll work on that in the morning. Now we just need to see if we're gonna get haunted or not. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.